Ruler School is brought to you by Odyssey Games, where you can go to get singles for all your Force of Will and other trading card games, as well as these amazing patrons.
Thank you for your support. Enjoy the video.
Hey there, Rulers. Welcome back to Ruler School. This is TMO73, bringing you the deck profile for the Atom Roulette deck list. This list was sent to me by Minh Ha. It is hilarious and an absolute blast to play. It is pretty much the greediest version of this deck you can possibly play, and it's can you get off Traveler Awakened on turn 2 or turn 3 and just maximize the value of it and push your opponent out. Some decks just, if you have a good enough spin on turn 2, there are some decks that just absolutely can't come back from it. It is very risky, it is high risk, high reward, but it is very fun for sure. So Atom side card obviously on the front. We're pretty much just playing games so we have Traveler for free or for cheaper, but if you play on his backside, obviously those runes get that extra bonus effect, and you can even sometimes get to being able to quick cast Awaken Traveler if you really feel like getting super greedy. But yeah, super fun. The stone deck is 4 Magic Stone of Hope and Despair, 4 Stone of Faith, and 2 Omniscience. The Omniscience really doesn't matter because we just need other white stones, but the Hope and Despair is because we are playing a couple Flourishing Hopes, and then the Magic Stone of Faith is we are playing Mistletoe, so you can make sure it doesn't get countered. Really, though, it's just all white. You have a bunch of cards in here that you absolutely can't cast and just become discard fodder for Tree if they end up in your hand. Going into the rune deck, we play Traveler in the Sea of Clouds, obviously, so we always have it on turn 2, and then a bunch of rest of them are super cheap. So Sandstorm, Ring of Legend to be able to keep stuff safe, Sand Awakening, and then Karmic Reversal. And there's a neat trick that I'll talk about with Karmic Reversal that I missed during the feature match, but I do want to talk about. So going into the deck, the main thing of the deck is Sapling. With this, on turn 2, with this and 2 stones, you can cast an Awakened Traveler. So you can just look at the top 3, see what you get, and put it into play. So super important to have this pretty much always, as well as a way to protect it is very important too. Your backup strategy is to have Acolyte of the Sun, which ramps you at least. It's a little bit, takes it a little bit slower, but as you saw in the deck, the feature match, you can get 2 of them out, and then you can still drop it like on turn 3 to at least kind of speed it up. Super relevant deck card in this deck is Brunhild's Shield, being able to quickly give things eternal, and being able to recycle it with like a Mistletoe and Ring of Legend. So interestingly enough, if one of these things is on the board, then you have 1 Will open and a Mistletoe, 1 Brunhild's Shield becomes eternal for 3 things. You can sacrifice it to give something eternal, use Mistletoe's trigger off of Ring of Legend to give a second thing eternal, bring Brunhild's Shield back, and then sacrifice that again to protect a 3rd thing with eternal. So she essentially becomes pay 1 will, give 3 things eternal, which is really, really good for protection. And now we get into the stuff that we're trying to cheat in. So we have an Ultra Dragon. We wanted to go as wide as possible with the different costs. So we have an Ultra Dragon and 2 Phalig for our 3-cost slot. Our 4-cost slot is Aries and Fool. Aries is great because it produces will for you to be able to cast other cards and set up for future turns, as well as being able to make all of your white resonators more powerful. Fool obviously is a 12/12 flyer with barrier during your opponent's turn, or a 10/10 flyer during your turn, so just good value there. 5 drops, we have just Mistletoe. Mistletoe and Mosasaurus take up the 5-drop slot. 4 Ushua in the 6-drop slot, which is mainly here because we give him swiftness, as well as he becomes getting another resonator off the top, because he looks at the top 5, grabs a resonator of cost 5 or less, puts it into field, and so you just like keep getting value off of it even more if you get him off of a Traveler. 1 Wellsir the Archmage, because technically Traveler is a chant, so if we awaken it, that's our first thing for the turn, we can get 6 resonators potentially. 4 Anubis, we can only get this card off of Traveler but it is an 8 cost, so we're always going to be able to get it off of Traveler if it's in the hand, and Anubis is just a beast. And then 3 Traveler in the Sea of Clouds in the main deck, so that we can cast it from there. 2 Flourishing Hope for some protection and spot removal if we need it. And then 3 Protection of the Angels, because we gotta keep the stuff safe once it's on board in order to be able to win. But that is the deck. The interesting thing that was told to me is really interesting idea is with you have like Mistletoe and Anubis. So if you hit a Traveler and you get Mistletoe and Anubis, you stack the Anubis trigger underneath Mistletoe, and then what happens is you target the Mistletoe with Anubis, or really any other of your own resonators. Mistletoe resolves first, making your next rune cost 1 white and 1 colorless less, and Karmic Reversal costs 1 white and 1 colorless. So whatever you were targeting with Anubis, you hit with Karmic Reversal before Anubis goes off, and then you burn your opponent for 15 damage off of a Traveler. So in this case, a card on turn 2 got you a 5-drop, an 8-drop, and burned your opponent for 15. Plus you probably revived something with the Mistletoe trigger as well. So there's just a lot of really interesting interactions in this deck, and it is an absolute blast to pull the trigger and just see what comes out. Sometimes you get really bad rolls, but sometimes you get really great rolls, and it's just hilarious to play. So huge thanks to Minh Ha for shooting this deck list in. Hope you guys liked watching play it, and definitely consider giving it a shot. If you have your own take on this kind of roulette style of Atom Sight card, or like different resonators you might want to splash in, let us know in the comments down below. Go ahead and hit that subscribe and bell button as always. And until next time, this is TMO73 saying class dismissed.